at President Akufo-Addo's proposed law to govern free SHS as a big joke.
There's no way he can make a law that nobody will come and review it. I will take it as a joke.
As residents of Adenta and Medina issued 10-day ultimatum to government to fix footbridges, the police are warning there will be consequences if they don't soften their stance on the issue.
They should try as much as possible to comport themselves, not to go to the extreme, because when you use hard approach, soft approach cannot be used.
And as the country awaits the 2019 budget, tax and more taxes appears to be the curse. But are you willing to pay?
1.5 million people pay tax in Ghana in a population of nearly 30 million people. That's an unacceptable set of figures.
We'll get to hear from an economist, the minority and the Ghana Revenue Authority as it goes after companies conniving with some of its officials to steal revenue due the state.
Acting upon intelligence that a consignment of free zone goods released for export to Paga the previous day had been diverted and were being destroyed at Nungwa, I immediately dispatched the surveillance team to the spot where the goods were being destroyed and intercepted them.
And in business, Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah confirms 2019 budget likely to propose 62 billion Ghana cedis as revenue target.
Sports Minister charges local media to make Black Queen's dominant issue for discussion with 4 days to go for 2018 Alcon kickoff.
And later on flip side, we do some tongue twisters. Evans, take this one. Let's try. 6 slimy snails sailed silently.
Let's hear what people say.
6 slimy snails, 6 silently.
6 slimy snails, 6. My mixing lights on. 6 slimy snails, 6 silently. 6 slimy snails, 6 silently.
Well, after a few seconds of rehearsal, 6 slimy snails sailed silently. Join us with your thoughts and comments on WhatsApp 0244 340437. My name is Evans Mensah.
I am MF Apple. We're right back after the break.
Trusted, innovative financial services, providing knowledge and support and solutions. Customer-oriented, superior services, your success our passion. Trusted, innovative financial services, providing knowledge and support and solutions. Customer-oriented, superior services. Success our passion. 10 good years of loyalty, service with integrity, protective of our Ghanaian brand. 10 years of excellence, 10 years of loyalty. Your success our passion. Oh yeah, your success our passion.
Your success our passion.
Hello, I say, how did now? Vodafone normal 10 megabyte free data. It will call Smart Rubiadron. Share.
Hello, have you heard that Vodafone is giving 10 megabyte free data for every minute you talk? You just dial 50-50.
Yeah, hello. Aha! Right now, with the Vodafone people, just they call plenty. Second of us, you talk 1 minute, you go get 10 megabytes. You talk 2 minutes, you go get 20 megabytes. 3 minutes.
Call Vodafone or any network and get 10 megabytes of free data every minute you talk. It's simple. Talk to browse. The more you talk, the more data you get. Dial 50-50 to subscribe. Talk more, browse more. Terms and conditions apply.
The future is exciting. Ready?
Let me explain in here. I'm a mistake where I use cement for all your projects. That's why Gassem, with 50 years experience, was to develop various greater. What are your various jobs? What was super rapid 32.5R? On no you suitable for your dream house. At your screening or Daduchi. Nazi or plastering. Oh man, a perfect finish. Gassem, what was super strong 42.5R? Or your best suited for slabs, pavement blocks, Nasezicho blocks, Nankasa, Ache pumping. More. For the biggest construction works like roads, bridges, on your high-rise buildings, contractor and use Gassem Extra 42.5N. Missing it be there. Choose Gassem always.
Gassem, the nation builder.
Nationwide Medical Insurance, the leader in private health insurance, has deployed superior technology to make your healthcare experience more convenient and exciting. With the Nationwide mobile app, you can order your prescription drugs and we will deliver to your doorsteps. With over 600 dependable healthcare service providers, you're just a step away locating your service provider of choice and accessing hospital claim information in real time. Our corporate clients are guaranteed timely corporate utilization reports. We provide on-site clinics to give employees access to healthcare in the comfort of their offices. Enjoy these amazing benefits and so much more by signing on to Nationwide Medical Insurance today. Call us on toll-free number 0800-222222 or visit our website www.nationwidemh.com. Nationwide Medical Insurance. Join the healthcare family.
Joy 99.7 FM.
You're welcome back and thanks for staying with us here on Newsnight. We begin with education. There's a lot happening on the educational front. Ranking member on Parliament's Education Committee and MP for Akachi North, Peter Nochukotoe, has described as a joke government's plan to enact a law seeking to prevent any future review or scrapping of the free senior high school policy. President Akufo-Addo over the weekend revealed that steps are being taken to safeguard the policy. We can listen to him over the weekend.
We have worked very hard against all odds over the last 22 months to broaden access for Ghanaian children to a minimum of senior high school education. Indeed, the most important resource of any nation is its people. Investing in our children and thereby in the future of our country is the most appropriate investment any government can make, and we are fully committed to continuing on this path. We're going to enact legislation to make access to HA senior high school compulsory for every school-going child. This will ensure that those who have pledged in their dreams to, quote, review the free senior high school policy do not get the chance to destroy this policy in the very unlikely event they return.
So you have President Akufo-Addo over the weekend on that policy or proposed policy to govern the free senior high school. Let's speak to the minority spokesperson on education, Mr. Peter Nochukotoe. Thank you very much for your time here on Newsnight. So what exactly are you afraid of regarding this proposed law by the president to govern the free SHS?
Thank you very much, and good evening to you and all your listeners. Well, I am not afraid of anything, or minority is not afraid of anything. But our concern is when the president said that they're going to enact a law that will make it very, very difficult for anybody to review the program or the free SHS program. And that is where our concern is. Because there is no way in this country that you can make a law, put an entrench clause in it, to say that nobody can amend the law. Since MPP came to power, I can cite at least 3 enactments that they have amended, and it's a review. So if there is a policy, free SHS, which we all say, yes, it's in the Constitution, so we will abide by it. But then if you say that it will not be reviewed, is the president telling us that everything about the free SHS implementation is right? No. There are a number of things that we have spoken about that government must review. So if you have failed to review those things and somebody says, when I come, I will review those things in the best interest of the nation, then you say they are dreaming. I disagree with him. And I can assure you that if any law comes to Parliament with any entrenched clause in it that nobody can review the free SHS, I don't think it is proper. For instance, the double track. This double track came about because of government inability to provide the necessary infrastructure that was needed. So if a government comes and provided the necessary infrastructure where everybody can go to school at the same time, so that should not be a review. You see? So I think the president has got it wrong by saying that you pass a law that will make it very difficult for anybody to review it. I think that one, it is not here nor there for the president to say so, because we have passed the stage where you can pass a law and say that is the final. So, for instance, if a government passes a law that once you are sentenced to life imprisonment, no government can come and then give you clemency. Is that the type of law we want in this country? No. So he can make a law to make sure that the free HSS is a program for the country, but cannot say that nobody should review any aspect of the free HSS. I think that is our major concern.
But really, the concerns for many regarding the minority stance, for instance, on this free SHS is more like vindictive. You are just waiting that when you come to power, you would definitely either scrap it or review it. Is that all you're waiting to do?
No, I think if you have listened to minority position since the implementation of the free SHS, we categorically said that we are not against the program, because we even started it on a progressively free nature. Now, let us look at how we can sustain the program. It's the sustainability that we have been talking about. How do we make it qualitative? That's what we have been talking about. How do we make sure that provision of infrastructure is there? You see, that's what we have been saying. We have not said that we are against the policy, that the policy should not be implemented. No, that is not our stand. Our stand is, let's make sure that everybody is brought on board, stakeholders engaged, and see even what parents can even do. Because even currently or recently, the Minister for Finance even said that there was a need to look at the program again carefully, so that those who can even pay can contribute towards the success of the policy. Because there's a lot of money that is involved in this free SHS program. So how do we sustain it? That is what the minority is about. So anyone who says that we are against the program is not getting it right. And I think that must be corrected. Yeah.
We're grateful for your time. That's Peter Nochu Kotoa. He's a minority spokesperson on education.
Well, let's just stay on education, because the former Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Aite, says government does not have what it takes to sustain the free senior high school program. And in fact, at the program today, the Graphic Business Stanbic Bank Forum, the participants seem to agree that every avenue, every resource must be explored in terms of funding the program. He was speaking at this program this afternoon. There's a Graphic Business Stanbic Bank breakfast meeting.
When I looked at the budget statement, it provided for 1.1 billion and 1.3 billion to support free SHS for 2018. We've done our own calculations, looking at the budgets of schools. To maintain the status quo, we need 3.3 billion cedis, not to 1.3. We need 3.3 billion, putting aside the teachers' salaries and so on. So we are looking at the goods and services provided, feeding the kids, maintaining classrooms, providing security and so on. We need 3.3 billion. It's not going to come from the budget next year, because the only way you can put it in there is to deny other parts of the economy the revenues required for their own operations. So if that is the case, how do you deal with it? How do you mobilize more resources? The government can't afford it. The Ghana government can't afford it. So we need partnership with the private sector to bring in these things. How do we structure them? That can be discussed. Of course, parents have to contribute. I know that the GES is averse to parents' contribution by telling parents, don't make any contribution through fees. You are putting aside 60% of all that they need to make those schools run. For what reason? I haven't seen around the world any school, boarding school, where you go to for free. I haven't seen it, except in Ghana today. How do you tell somebody, go to Wesley Girls, go to Infanticum, eat 3 times a day, but don't pay anything? I'm worried about that. I am concerned that in our haste to provide a free SHS, we are not taking into account all the principles that we should be. There's nothing wrong with taking from the rich to pay for the poor. There's nothing wrong with it. The Bible.
You heard the former Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor
the Ghana Education Service boss, who was there, Professor Amankwa, was clear that the GS is not adverse to allowing other people to contribute to the thing, and that he points to they should allow parents and all students to contribute if they can, but they insist that in essence a conversation needs to be had about the other funding sources, and they are not taking anything off the table in considering that. The Deputy Education Minister, though, Dr. Yao Duchum, says funding for education in the country must be seen to improve critical aspects of education sector to ensure that beneficiaries can actually contribute effectively to the economy.
As we look at sustainable ways of funding education, I also will venture to say that the best way of funding education is to fund it on things that are critical, on things that can really improve the learning culture in the schools after you guarantee access, and make sure that the very people that you are educating are the ones who are going to help improve the economy in such a way that you not then begin to worry too much about funding for education, because the innovative ways of doing things and the creativity they bring to the fore to improve productivity in industry is what will improve our economy.
Now, these concerns are emerging as some 470,000 students on the Gold Track begin the 2018-2019 academic year today. But some senior high school teachers and students on the double track system are asking government to concentrate on providing infrastructure and teacher incentives to sustain the policy. Love FM's Erastus Asari Donko has more in this report.
Many of the Green Track students had exited the campuses for a break after 41 days in school. The few we met at the Kumasi High and T.I. Ahmadiyya Senior High Schools spoke highly of their time in school as pioneers of the double track system.
We were able to complete half of the topics according to the time for the studies. At first it was 30 minutes, but now it was 1 hour.
Some teachers noted implementation has been smooth so far, but schools will need critical ingredients to sustain it. They cite specifically textbooks for some subjects as well as teacher motivation.
So when I compare, I can see that we are done with half of the topics for the semester. So when they come back for the break, we'll be able to finish the rest of the topics.
These facilities here cannot contain those in Form 2. For those in Form 2 who are going to Form 3, they will have space. But those who are in Form 1 coming to Form 2, so we combine them of 1,300 students. Our facilities can contain them.
In terms of literature, we do not have the reading test. It's very difficult to get the books. I have to call a friend in Nigeria to get the books and ship them for me to go and pick them.
Assistant Headmaster for Domestic Affairs at the Kumasi High Senior High School, Ernest Badin, and his academic affairs colleague at TIMAS, Minta Bieni, look into the future.
Actually, we need about 80-minute classroom to be able to accommodate. Once they were divided, the challenge was minimal, and I want to be overwhelmed with people placed here for visual arts. We had requested for 2 classes for visual arts. I went the list came, we had about 4 classes for visual arts. So we had to adjust somehow, accommodate them.
Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Kumasi.
So that will be it for education. Let's turn our attention now to another issue. Of course,
my hood.
You are
conflicted
in this issue.
I'm conflicted.
Did
I just
you
left
go on the
there.
protest today?
I came to work.
Oh yes, you were moderating the breakfast.
Well, the
meeting
police, the police is cautioning residents of Adenta and Medina. Well, I'm not one of those protesting, by the way, so that there will be consequences if they don't soften their stance on the issue. Now, the residents have issued a 10-day ultimatum to government to fix footbridges, or they will hit the streets. The residents have also indicated that they are ready to offer their services to help the contractors once they move to site. They have been demonstrating today after last Thursday's violent protest. Listen to some of them, some of the residents at today's demonstration.
He had to join this particular march, forfeit his work, just so that they drum home their concern to get the full bridges fixed. Say governments can say, or more contractors are baffled. But who contractors work on this one?
last year 1st May.
The lady mentioned that she was a victim of a knockdown here in 2016. That's why she had to join this match. Then I'm achieving.
Yeah, achieving say you a demonstration. We were expecting better than this. Now can you say no? My opportunity
so you be who contractors and I say on to say you be me afro side way. You
didn't go to work today because of this demonstration.
Yes. My brother was knocked down at the same filling station. You understand? It is very bad. Which kind of country are we? Look at this thing. When was it started? Until now, nothing is being done about it. We are all Ghanaians.
Government said they are going to get contractors to come here.
When? This week. If you don't see it, it will still continue.
See, Jacob Osei-Yeboah has joined the residents of this area to embark on this particular march. Let me get a few words from him.
This is an issue to do with life, people. We are not saying that the road is not good. What we are saying is that the road is killing people like ground squirrel. In Akanda, we say amokuya, yenya mokuya. Human beings are not like ground squirrel. That should be killed. The traffic light, that news has gone around saying that it's been fixed. All of you were at SDA Junction. That traffic light has not been fixed. So we are telling the government that once they've promised us, they should make sure that they fix this traffic light within that 10 days.
So what next for you as residents of this area? What next after this particular march?
I think what the leaders have told them was that within 10 days, if they've not seen anything, they are going to call again and then we need to demonstrate. They are not going to stop. This is our fundamental human right.
Now, you had some residents there, including presidential aspirant JOY there. But leaders of the Peace March say they are willing to help the contractors speed up work by offering their expertise in various activities. This, they say, signifies how crucial the footbridges are to the safety of residents. Selon Brantier is one of them.
I can assure you that there are people who are even ready to volunteer and carry concrete and help the masons and the contractors for free if need be. And some of us would also even want to come and help if need be. Because you see, it can happen to any one of us. I personally has carried 4 accident victims from the roadside, from the tarmac. One of them died and we had to carry him and put him in a car. It is not a matter of people trying to trivialize the numbers of people who died to dispute that 2 people died here or 1 or 2 people died. No. People's fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, children have been involved. Last week when I was on Joy FM studios talking about this thing, we were having very, very arrogant responses from those in charge. Between the time I left the premises of Joy FM and got back to Medina, a woman had been killed. These are the kind of people that are losing their lives because of the negligence and because of the apathy of citizens. Now the citizens are rising and they are demanding their due. At the end of the day, we are just going to help government do its work and do it diligently.
Well, the police, however, is insisting that the protesters must respect the public or the law. Listen to Operations Commander Superintendent Kwesi Fori speaking to the issues and warning there will be consequences if the protesters break the law.
Let's try to distinguish between normal public demonstrations, which we've been policing all without incidents, and people who have taken the laws into their own hand, with their recourse to law and order. And they felt they can do it. They smashed a lot of people's car. Even the police vehicles that were sent there, they attacked our regional operation vehicles.
Was that before the police reacted or after?
They started attacking decent people on the street when the police reacted. And police, even on reaching there, they directed their missiles, including stones, whatever, against the police, and broke our windscreens and so forth. Even the fire service, who has nothing to do with in terms of enforcement, were even attacked. Their fire tender attacked and damage caused. And police cannot sit down unconcerned for them to take our laws into their own hands and treat decent people that way. So one thing was operationally, we want to get them off the road, secure the petrol filling station, and those in traffic, make sure that we protect them also, because we're smashing cars. And these are mass violence. You're talking about mass violence where you have about 350 people involved. At the end of it all, whatever happened, we'll go to the drawing board, look at our strengths and weaknesses, and coming training program will factor all this. But let me appeal to the public that they should try as much as well to comport themselves, not to go to the extreme. Because when you use hard approach, soft approach cannot be used.
You heard the Superintendent, Kwesi Furi. Thankfully, today people didn't have to run helter-skelter. But in a related development, dark and gloomy, that is perhaps what best describes the state of lighting on major highways in Accra, including the Tema motorway. A drive through the capital shows a poorly lit city with broken or malfunctioning streetlights. For many motorists, this questions government's commitment to road safety. Ernest Menu reports.
It's 8 p.m. Night has fallen. We set off from our Kukumlemle office and joined the Tesano Achimota Road. We then moved to the N1 highway, and the brilliantly golden light looking down on the streets makes night driving such a delight. But as we approach the Tetekwashi interchange, the light fades gradually and we are ushered into a realm of darkness. It's like day and night. The Tema motorway is undoubtedly one of the most important road networks in the country. But today, not a single streetlight on the entire 19-kilometer stretch is functioning. Motorists are unhappy.
If you don't have proper illumination, you could get some accidents. So it's of a great concern to every motorist. You know, it looks like we are getting to a point where we accept it like that. You pay, you know, nothing will be done, but you have no obligation to stop. But we pray and hope that things will change, because once we pay, we expect that we'll have good roads, we'll have good lights and all that, so that we can help avoid accidents.
For commercial drivers especially, the poorly lit highway makes paying tolls a painful act.
If your car develops a fault on the motorway, you could easily be attacked. So if the street light is working, it will help us. So government should fix this. There are many cars that use the motorway. So I believe the tolls collected will be enough to fix the lights.
But the situation does not persist on the Tema motorway. The stretch of road from Laboni through La and some parts of Teshi, especially around the Peshi Lagoon, remain dark. The only source of illumination is from shops, offices and 4 stations dotted along the streets. So if the Electricity Company of Ghana is still deducting money from my electricity payment for the provision and maintenance of street lights, which areas in Accra are benefiting from the compulsory customer support? Ernest Menu for Joy News.
Well, let's speak to the Tema Mayor Felix Mensah Annan joins us on the telephone line right now. Thank you, sir, for your time here on Newsnight.
Yeah, thank you too. Good evening.
When will the motorway potholes be fixed?
I think we have started the procurement process. We advertise the 3,000 street lights, which will cover the entire Tema Township, including the portion of the motorway, and that was 20th of October. Today, the bid was opened. 6 companies bidded, and immediately after the bid, we have consulted the evaluation panel looking at the.
Hello, Felix Mensah. Forgive me, but we're getting feedback from your line. If you can turn off the radio close to you, that'd be good.
Yeah, I've done that.
Fantastic. Can you start again? You're talking about the street lights. We'll come to the pothole shortly. You're talking about the street lights.
Yes, like I said, we know the nature of the street light is very bad. We have received some street lights from the administrator of the Common Fund Secretariat, and about 300 we have fixed that already within the Tema Metropolis. We as Assembly also initiated a move. We are acquiring 3,000 LED lights, and we have started the procurement process. That was 20th of October. Today, the bid was finished. 6 companies bidded, and just after the bidding today, looking at the urgency of the streetlight situation, I formed the evaluation panel today. I've given them only 5 days to bring their reports, and then the entity tender committee will sit on it. The agenda is to get streetlight before Christmas. So we are putting our effort in place to get to them.
So the street lights on the Tema motorway will be fixed before Christmas.
A portion of the Tema motorway.
A portion.
We are looking at the entire Tema township, not only the portion of the motorway.
Okay, so I get the Tema township fixing of the street lights there, but because of the nature of the Tema motorway and the fact that it's one of those areas that claims a lot of life with the accidents in the evening, I thought it comes naturally that will become a priority.
Yes, I've already discussed the Tema motorway issue with the roads minister, and they also have a plan in fixing the entire street light of the motorway. You know, motorway belongs to 5 to 6 different assemblies. It is not Tema alone. That's why maybe earlier on I said portion of the motorway will be fixed.
Okay, so just to clarify, you're saying that you'll be fixing the part of the motorway that falls within your jurisdiction?
Yes. The road minister even said we should hold on, and they have a plan for the entire motorway. So we are looking at it by December that the road ministry are not being able to fix the entire motorway. Maybe something should be done about this. In fact, we are procuring 3,000 LED lights for entire township.
So that's with the street lights, but we also know about the many potholes on the Tema motorway. Have you discussed that with the Roads and Highways Minister as well, and or your own selves at the Assembly? Yes. What are you doing about that?
Yes, I think, it has to do with Ghana Highway Authority, GTHA. I've mentioned it, but I've seen them myself on the motorway taking some measurements. I think it's under control. They will come and fix it.
Is that an assurance they gave you, or you are speculating like all of us that this will be done?
Yes, because I've seen them taking some measurements on the motorway. That's where I believe that they have started something.
But at the Assemblyman, and you admit part of the motorway falls in your in your jurisdiction, you did not inquire specifically about whether or not and get the categorical yes or no whether this is going to be done and by what date, so you can communicate to the people that you serve.
Maybe now that you are letting me know, I'll find out, and I can pass the information on maybe from tomorrow.
Maybe, or something that you definitely will do, because this is a matter of life and death,
Yes, I know. That's why I said maybe what happened is I didn't ask them of the date they are going to fix it, but I saw them taking some measurements on the motor, and I think they have responded to the call. That's why I'm seeing that.
What about, have you seen the campaign going on about from pedestrians and, well, not pedestrians, motorists generally, drivers who use the motorway, who say they will not pay the toll unless the road is fixed, street lights and potholes? What's your reaction to that?
I think the body that needs to react to these issues are the GHA, the Ghana Highway Authority.
But as an assemblyman, this is not something that the assembly is concerned about?
Yes, the assembly is concerned, but we have to channel our frustration to the GHA to get it fixed, because unless information comes that they want the assembly to do that. But at the moment, assembly is financially handicapped, so we have informed the GHA to take care of that.
And that's the mayor for Tema, Felix Mensah Annan, speaking to us about the challenge with portions of the Tema motorway that falls within his jurisdiction. What do you make of what he just said? If you're driving on a motorway right now, well, if you find yourself at an appropriate place and you're in the car, please send us your own thoughts on this. Is the street lights? What is the situation with it? The terrible nature of the road with the potholes. Share your thoughts also with us on many social media platforms, particularly on WhatsApp. Already there are some of your views coming through, MFA. So
this one from Kokuma Olinanegbe says, I am left forever wondering what at all is involved in constructing 12 stairways, only 12 stairways, which are left to be done to make the footbridges on Medina Adenta Highway accessible. Would take 6 contractors, 12 long months to do only stairways because the platforms are already done. Why are we building a fort?
Jerry says that Nketa says, how long did the authorities want the citizens of the area to suffer and die before they fixed the footbridges? As for the police commander, he does not know what he's saying. We are half Ghanaians at heart. What kind of leadership is this?
And this one also from Wolanyo in Akwetia says, fixing the footbridge is very important and a very good call from the residents. But these people should vow that they are going to use it when it is fixed, because Ghanaian attitude, they will still cross the road because of laziness. The police should be alert to prosecute anyone who flouts crossing the road without using the footbridge.
Shipman says it's very surprising how the minority are desperate, wishing for the failure of the free SHS policy. The NDC is concerned about infrastructure doesn't hold because this Akufo-Addo-led government is doing things possible to sustain the program.
Some of your messages that you've sent in via WhatsApp on 0244340437. Time now for business with George Riafe.
Interesting discussions. Thank you so much about these agencies and what are they supposed to be doing. The local assemblies and the various agencies.
We seem to have forgotten about them in all the conversations that we're having.
Is supposed to
even
pass
with
the
their
laws.
denser situation. I mean, I'm just wondering where the assembly has been in all this.
Parliament is supposed to pass the laws. The local assemblies are supposed to be taking up development in the local areas. And what is happening? Oh, coming up in business, Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah confirms the 2019 budget is likely to propose 62 billion Ghana cedis as revenue targeted, and government again misses out on the amount targeted in a bond sale, raising issues about the impact on the country's debt stock. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials, and Mark Autopass, distributors of Isuzu pickups and Chevy cars.
In this part of the world, we rise early, way before the sunrise. We plan, we pray, we prep, just so we are a step ahead. We keep the conversations going to stay connected to family, friends, and business. They say, Agrobeswa Ifrianopa. Start your day bright with MTN Kokroko. For only 1 Ghana cedi, you can enjoy 400 megabytes of data and 30 minutes of free MTN to MTN calls every day from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. everywhere you go. Dial *138# to buy MTN Kokroko bundle now.
We give you nothing but the best, we stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Books and Stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customer satisfaction is a guarantee. Kingdom Books and Stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, young CEOs, SMEs, business leaders, and entrepreneurs. It's the second Ghana SME and Young CEO Summit and Expo, a unique one-day world-class forum for knowledge gains on business scale-ups, corporate best practices, and expanding your network of top-level business contact, to be held on the 26th of November 2018 at the Kempinski Hotel, Accra. Theme: Corporate Leadership Governance, Strong Pillar for Business and Economic Growth. Be enlightened by world-class faculty CEO mentors, keynote speakers, panelists, experts, and government officials. For registration, sponsorships, and corporate exhibitions, visit GhanaSMECEOSummit.com or call 0546 391 970 or 0277 899 000. The second Ghana SME and Young CEO Summit and Expo is powered by CEO Network Ghana and Deloitte.
Joy 99.7 FM, radio for the discerning listener.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. And government's revenue target in the 2019 budget is likely to go up by some 11 billion Ghana cedis to hit 62 billion Ghana cedis. Now that's according to Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah. But how is government going to realize this target, especially when it's currently struggling to meet this year's target? There is more in this following Business Desk report.
The 10 billion cedi jump in revenue target is in line with government's own forecast for the next 3 years that is outlined in the 2018 budget. Government projected to raise about 51 billion cedis in 2018. However, as at August this year, we understand that it's about 3 billion cedis short of the projected target. However, government is still optimistic about hitting the target before end of the year. Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah has been given more details on the revenue dynamics.
Every year, Ghana raises a certain amount of money. If you take this year, for example, about 52 billion Ghana cedis, we're spending 62 billion Ghana cedis. We have a deficit of about 10 billion Ghana cedis. In the year 2019, you're already hearing that we are hoping to move domestic resources up to about 62 billion. Our revenue needs will keep growing by the year. What we have to do is to match it with our expenditure commitment so that we don't blow a big hole in our budget. So you'll see a budget that is still hinged on that same paradigm, that we want as much as possible to raise enough domestic resources to fund the priorities of the country, and where we have to maybe rely on whether it's debt or grants, it will not be because without it we can't survive, but it will just be an add-on to the necessaries that we are doing for ourselves already.
But the question is, looking at the current challenges facing the economy, what would be the approach this time around in hitting the 62 billion cedis for this year? Would government increase tax rates or expand the tax net? Well, the president believes that the current tax structures need to be reviewed. He said this at an engagement with some investors in South Africa.
1.5 million people pay tax in Ghana in a population of nearly 30 million people. That's an unacceptable set of figures. But it is feasible because the state itself at the moment still doesn't dispose of the capacity to be able to make sure that all those who should be in the tax net are in the tax net. So that's a major focus of my government. How are we going to broaden the tax base? We're talking in Ghana about a vision of a Ghana beyond it. Essentially what it means is that we believe we're capable of financing our own development out of our own resources.
There is talk about budgets being heavy on infrastructure projects, but the question is, how will this be funded? Looking at the fact that government is promising to be prudent with expenditure post the IMF program. In 2018, with a total expenditure budget of 61 billion cedis, government did set aside almost 7 billion cedis for capital projects. Many economists will be looking forward to how government is planning to manage the economy post the IMF program, which should end by 2019.
And that is a Business Desk report. Let's still stay on issues relating to the budget, because tax consultant Eric Amponsah-Boateng is asking the government to scrap the fiscal stabilization levy on the profits of businesses. Let's hear more from him on why he believes that this tax should be reviewed. He spoke to Joy Business on the sidelines of the Graphic Stanbic Breakfast Series in Accra today.
The National Fiscal Levy is coming to an end this year. I don't expect the minister extend it to 2019 because as per the law, the 2018 budget, when it was read in 2017, it was extended for a year more. So it ends in 2019. We are looking at sources of revenue to be able to fund education in Ghana. And I'm saying that if they even extend it, I expect that we should be able to have a similar thing in terms of education. Maybe we could have National Education Fund, where instead of the 5%, companies that make profit before tax contribute, let's say, 1% or 2% of their profit before tax. Okay, and I'm sure that most of these companies would buy into that. In this case, it is the profit before tax. So it's not across board. And even this one, it is for specific institutions. It's not all of them.
And that is Eric Amponsah, is a tax consultant to PKF. Let's move on to issues relating to bond, and government has again failed to realize all the amount targeted in its bond sale. The Ministry of Finance was hoping to raise some 600 million Ghana cedis in its 2-year bond sale that, according to its calendar, however, it got 557 million cedis. Now, this is, however, lower than the 600 million cedis that it was targeting. Now, this is the second time since October this year that the government has not been able to secure all the amount that it was targeting. Now, this is not normal, looking at the fact that in previous circumstances, government bonds have been oversubscribed by investors. The development could have some impact on the total debt stock on the economy. But the head of financial markets at the Bank of Ghana, Stephen Opata, has told Joy Business development has nothing to do with the fundamentals of the economy, but some global challenges.
In July, portfolio inflows to emerging markets was 12 billion. In August,
It's been 2 billion. So you can see a significant drawdown in portfolio inflows. Actually, in some countries, there have been reversals. In Ghana, we have been fortunate. We've seen some reversals, but it's not that significant. But what has happened that we have observed is that some of the coupons that have matured, coupons that have been paid to non-resident investors, and principals that have accrued. Previously, most of these investors will have just positioned themselves to reinvest. We've seen some reversals, showing that the risk appetite for our bonds have reduced a little bit. That's why we have to be careful. So I agree with you that in past time when we issued our bond, we got a very good subscription and a very good rate. But I'm saying that since then, the risk appetite for EM debt has dwindled a little bit. So that's way into this is the global trade tensions, mostly between the US and China.
Stephen Opata is the head of financial markets at the Bank of Ghana. Government's borrowing through bonds and treasury bills will reach 45 billion Ghana cedis by December this year. To the stock market, and if you hold shares of MTN, you've lost about 3 pesos and is now worth 85 pesos. Now, Enterprise Group also lost some 5 pesos to close at 2 Ghana cedis, 93 pesos. Republic Bank was also down by 17 pesos and is now worth 1 Ghana cedis, 10 pesos. For holders of Cow Bank shares, you've lost 2 pesos, so it's now worth 1 Ghana cedi. So it's a losing spree on the Ghana Stock Exchange today. Emitha, over to you.
Thank you very much, George. Now, members of parliament who are perennial latecomers to the House will soon be exposed as leadership of the House prepares to install clocking devices in the House. Speaker of Parliament Michael Quay, who reviewed this, said the move will hopefully get MPs to be more punctual to sit-ins. Earlier this year, a study by civil society organization Odikro showed several MPs reported to work late, a situation, he says, adversely affected parliamentary work. The Speaker, who was addressing some selected journalists in Accra, said perennial latecomers will be named and shamed.
Punctuality is not good, and we've said it ourselves on the floor of the House. As at today, we are working at these things. It's both members and staff. Members have all agreed that they're going to turn over a new leaf, and those of you who have been coming here will see that there has been quite a change. Very soon, and we've placed orders for this, there will be the clocking machines. They will clock in, and they will also clock out. So there will be a record, and this is being done in other parliaments. And I've told honorable members already. I've shared it with them. In fact, the other day, I was very glad about some of the comments that members themselves made, that they must work in a way that will satisfy the good people of Ghana, who are their employers. So definitely there are these difficulties. Otherwise, we'll not be talking about ordering the machines.
Beyond installing these machines, Mr. Speaker, are you going to name and shame MPs who are virtually, late?
Definitely. This, it will be available to members of the media. So when you come, and in fact, I'm seeking your cooperation, and these are the things that make things work in other countries. And when you make comments, like I know a number of researches have been done in the past, some of which I had even referred to in some papers I had written several years ago, you want to now support them scientifically with what the parliament computer is saying, and they will soon be installed, so that you can now tell that this is the attendance record of this particular member of parliament.
The Speaker has meanwhile also added his voice to assurances by leadership of the House the Right to Information Bill will be passed before close of the year.
I very much expect that the enthusiasm and high devotion to work exhibited by a number of you during the recess will find expression in your turnout and work. I pray that we continue to sharpen our punctuality and also improve the conviviality that will exist between members in this House. In particular, for our debate to rise beyond that which is not necessary and that which is unpleasant or unpalatable. I will appeal to joint committees on constitutional, legal, and parliamentary affairs We've already done a great deal of work during the recess on the Right Information Bill 2018 to make a report as quickly as possible in order for us to deliberate thereon.
And as Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Quay. So listen to Newsnight here on Joy 99.7 FM. Have you ever played football?
I tried it.
When?
Oh, when I was young, but it didn't work.
Young as in...
But I can do 100 meters at least.
I'm saying football, you're saying 100 meters. They're two different things.
They're sports.
You can kick a ball?
Yes, I
You
can.
can kick a ball?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I can. Yeah, I'm very good at it though.
Well, but the thing is that in most traditional settings, sporting activities are thought to be the preserve of boys, particularly when you're talking about football. You have a brother?
Yes, I have.
Okay, I'm sure when you're growing up, you saw them play football, but they excluded you. When you go and pick the football, they probably will snatch it and let's go and do something else and play and pay. I'm sure is what they will say. I mean, girls pursue sports. Therefore, the girls who decide to pursue sports, what tends to happen to them is that there's resistance, there's hostility towards them from all angles, including young brothers bullying them and saying, go and play Ampe because that's what you stereotypically think they should do. In an upcoming documentary dubbed All to Play For, John News' Gary Al Smith tells the story of 13-year-old Princess Ando, who is unfazed by all the stereotypes pushing her far away from the aspiration of becoming a celebrated footballer she's always dreamt of. This is part of our build-up to the 2018 Africa Women's Cup of Nations, which starts Saturday, November 17.
Reactions to girls playing football from peers and older people can be wildly different. Take Princess, for example. I asked her about reactions she typically gets from her friends because she plays football.
They encourage me, and they also, when I do something it's not correct, they also correct me.
This morning, is that okay?
Yes.
All right, nice one.
But has she ever encountered negative feedback because she does not behave like most other girls her age? Apparently she has. And believe it or not, it was from someone you'd think would know better.
Yes, one of my teachers said it to me.
One of your teachers told you that you are wasting your time?
Yes.
What happened? Tell us how it happened.
She said that every day I don't like sitting in the class. Every day I'm outside, I'm going to play ball. So I don't like staying in class. So I should stop playing football because it's not good.
So when she said that, how did you feel?
I feel bad and I feel sad.
But you didn't stop playing?
No.
Why? Why do you continue playing football even though your teacher says you are wasting your time?
Because of my coach and my mother. I want my mother to see that the school that I'm going is not just like playing. I want to play like Ajobayo.
Indeed, because sporting activities are very much seen as exclusively for boys at many levels of a Ghanaian society, young girls face serious pressures to stay away from the playing fields. And when they insist, there's usually a pushback.
How do you deal with the stigma around you?
Yeah, what I do is I just don't mind what people say about ladies playing football. It's a game, and if you love it, you just need to do whatever your heart tells you to do.
And it's coming up in tonight's Hotline documentary at 8:30 p.m. on the Joy News channel on Multi TV. You don't want to miss it. Baba, you played football in school.
Yes, I did.
You were a captain or deputy
for
captain?
Jack and Joe's school football team, and then I became deputy captain in Agri.
And then you lost your way and became a journalist.
No, I still have the flair, so it's fine.
You have the flair.
It's not all lost.
What flair?
At least now I play.
I've seen you hosting one of your shows that it requires that you hold football, and last time I saw you trying to kick a football, it was horrible.
You did?
Yeah.
No, yours was horrible. I videoed you. Have you forgotten?
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, it was horrible. You played like Lukaku.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
what do you have in headlines?
Yes. So we're talking about the Women's AFCON. That's in some 4 days, right? And then Youth and Sports Minister Isaac Isiama is charging local sports media to make the Black Queens the center of their discussion. A majority of the football fraternity has argued that publicity on the tournament has been on the low, but the Honourable Member of Parliament for Ejima Mponua believes if topics surrounding the Black Queens and the tournament are made dominant in local sports media programming, the narrative of low publicity could change.
Well, it's about all of us. It's about Ghana, Africa, all of us, media. It's about the excitement, understand? And here, there we go again, the media. if it's about blasters, the men, you can know the craze and enthusiasm. So I challenge all of you. Now it's about our women. Discuss about the stars. Discuss about the women. Our players. Rashida, let me ask you, how many of them can you even mention? But if it were the if they were the blasters, you mention Asamoah, blah blah blah. Now mention the queens. This is our time. It's the time of the black queens. Let all of us mention their names one by one. So I'm challenging all of you, the media. Go out there from tomorrow, please. Let us mention their names, their coach, their technical handlers. Let us support women football in Africa and the world. Ghana stands ready for this game.
Honorable Isaac Isiamah also spells out how his outfit, together with the local organizing committee, intends to get funds to fill up the Accra and Cape Coast stadia during March days.
Well, everything is under control, understand? We are in touch of corporate body, we are in touch of schools, all of them. All stakeholders are on board to ensure that come 17th November, coming Saturday, Ghanaians will feel the stands. Here will be full. We are ready for Africa, we are ready for the world.
That was the Honorable Youth and Sports Minister, Isaac Isiamah. Ed Evanson MFR, are you going to be at the Accra Sports Stadium on Saturday for the opening ceremony and the opening game as well?
I wish I could. What, you have to buy a ticket?
3:30 is just 5 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
And when you buy that ticket for 5 Ghana cedis, you get to watch Ghana, Algeria, and then you also get to watch the second match of the day.
That sounds like a
Mali
good deal.
and Cameroon. Yes.
That sounds like a good deal.
MFR, you're coming.
And the sports stadium has been renovated. I saw pictures. It looks very attractive.
Yeah.
So you wanna be part of this. Don't miss out.
You have to be. This is going to be history in the making.
Baba, thank you very much.
Well, you know what's happening on Thursday, right?
What's happening on Thursday?
Budget. 2019 budget. The content of the 2019 budget will be known. But the question on the minds of many is whether taxes will go up or new ones will be introduced. The budget comes at a time government appears to be losing out on several targets set for itself in 2018. Year-on target for revenue, expenditure, inflation are all falling short, putting a strain on government programs. Government will announce new measures in the budget, including the need to broaden the tax base to open more Ghanaians. Listen to President Akufo-Addo over the weekend giving a hint.
Less than 6% of our people are part of the tax-paying population of our country. 1.5 million people pay tax in Ghana in a population of nearly 30 million people. That's what? Something like 6% of the population. That's an unacceptable set of figures. But it is feasible because the state itself at the moment still doesn't dispose of the capacity to be able to make sure that all those who should be in the tax net are in the tax net. So that's a major focus of my government. How are we going to broaden the tax base? We're talking about a vision of a Ghana beyond aid. Essentially what it means is that we believe we're capable of financing our own development out of our own resources. But if only 6% of our people are within the tax net, that already poses a major structural problem. So that's an important focus for government.
So there will be a lot of talk this week on taxes, on budgets and all. But already, the Ghana Revenue Authority has arrested some 6 people for diversion of free zone goods and thereby evading taxes. Joy News is learning such diversions have resulted in the loss of $3.6 million to the state. To address it, the GRA is demanding all duty-free shops pay taxes on their imports. Here's Director General of the GRA, Kofi Nti.
Let me say that duty-free shops do not pay taxes on their imports. It has always been our suspicion that the regime was being abused. It is for this reason that GRA has issued an advert stating that effective 1st December 2018, duty-free shops will pay customs duty and taxes at the time of importation and apply for refund. On Friday, 9th November 2018, acting upon intelligence that a consignment of free zone goods released for export to Paga the previous day had been diverted and were being discharged at Nungwa. I immediately dispatched the surveillance team to the spot where the goods were being discharged and intercepted them.
You heard that the Director General of the Ghana Revenue Authority.
Well, it's not time for flip side. There's some tongue twisters, and you asked me to read through very quickly 6 slimy snails sailed silently, and I did it with flying colours. But it's not everybody who can do that, and sometimes it can be a challenge. I think the trick is to just admit that you cannot say it, and instead of okay, you go through. Let's try it again.
6 slimy snails sailed silently.
Okay. Well, RAC TV was on the streets again, and they tried it on a few people.
On our Twister Challenge, we keep looking for those who can twist and twist better. You think you're up for the challenge? My name is Novinyo Do. This is Tongue Twisters. 6 slimy snails sail silently.
6 slimy snails silently.
6 slimy snails sail silently.
6 slimy snails, 6. My mixing lights on me.
No, you're a fool. Come on, stand here. I will lay you. Next time, use your common sense.
6 slimy snails sail silently.
6 slimy snails sail silently.
To me, spell your mentro.
Don't go help us, girl.
That's it for Newsnight. My name is Evans Mensah.
I am Emefa Apau. That's my opinion when an answer call is up next. Is free SHS for votes or for development? That's coming up, and that's my opinion.